Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy, he is over in the Philippines, and he's going to share his story about how, like many guys, he started off at being a typical nice guy, for lack of a better term. And he openly admits that he was brainwashed from an early age from the BS that they show how they portray men in the courtship and pursuit of women in movies, TV shows, songs, romance novels, whatever, in a certain way. He followed that narrative and obviously got him nowhere. But it is what it is, and how he shares about his different experiences with women throughout his life and how he just would get cheated on and burned all the time and the lessons that he learned here. But ultimately, you're going to see this guy definitely, he learns after a while, and he's doing really well for himself, and he gets to have the added joy of having all these different women that definitely, who he really liked and cared for at different time periods, all come back. All of them. All coming back, wanting him back in his life to, obviously, resources and all there. And I tell you all the time, guys, I've done many, many videos about this, how they always come back. They always call. Because when their options are limited, or the prospect they thought was better than you fizzles, they're back. And there isn't a guy watching this that probably hasn't had this happen to him at least once. So I'm going to go through this guy's story. It's a nice comeback story. And it's very satisfying. And particularly for any guy out there watching this, and I'm sure pretty much every guy watching this has been burned at least once in their life. And how enjoyable it is when you've been burned, you get your life together, and they come crawling back, and you get to have the satisfaction of saying, you had your shot. He says, SSM, for this letter, please just refer to me as Fred. Okay, Fred. This is just a story of how I slowly became RP'd. Speaking in code because I can't say the other one, red something. As well as getting my revenge to those that did me wrong. While I cannot completely blame them, many schools of social conditioning from movies, books, media, and even songs has led them to have such nature. All those things led guys to be a certain way and also have led women to be a certain way, particularly social media. I'm also partly at fault for being blind and believing in nonsense from romance songs and movies I listened to and watched in the past. Get in line, dude. It happens to everybody else. It's happened to every guy, most guys. However, I'm thankful for the experience as it has led me to where I'm going in my own way and living a much happier life. All you can do is put a silver lining on your mistakes and bad experiences to help you learn and grow. That's all you can do. And they will if you actually learn from it. To start with, I'm not what 99% women would even find desirable, especially with their high and demanding standards. I'm Asian, and I'm only 5 feet tall. Most people get upset that women don't even consider those under 5'7" as a partner material. I look at them with confusion as they're much taller than me. In my country, despite me being short, there are many short people as well. I've treated my body well though. I do a lot of cardio and I practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well as hobbies like archery. Cool, dude. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was never my thing. I took a few classes, I tried out the groundwork, and just wasn't my thing. I like being on my feet, fighting there. And my old instructor used to always say, look, all fights end up on the ground, dude. And that's why my Krav Maga classes, we did basic groundwork where if you were tackled to the ground, how to get out of it. But the real sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is quite cool, just never my thing. Plus, it was always so hot wearing those thick gis and rolling around the mats. So, I salute you. I am also very mentally adept winning multiple state division chess tournaments in my younger years, as well as doing gymnastics alongside it, doing the pommel horse. I also do a lot of community service, ranging from once to twice a month, as well as donating blood. So you're a good guy, a stand-up guy. I'm very financially stable and should an accident happen, I have no issues coming up with money within an hour. That's where I want you to be. That's where I want all guys to be. In a good position. They're healthy, doing well for themselves, and they're financially stable. You don't have to be the next Elon Musk in terms of your net worth, but if you got to have some money that you can follow, you know it's there. You'll sleep better. Because shit happens in life, guys. Emergencies happen. You got to have money and then invest it and watch it grow. Believe me, most of the problems in this lifetime can be solved with money. It is what it is. Anyways, let me share my journey into the R pill. My first girlfriend was back in high school. Looking back now, she was just barely above average, who had a pretty developed body. But at the time, she's the most beautiful girl in my eyes. We fooled around a lot, both during school, both before school and after school, and other times during school events, like a football meet. I didn't have much time to myself at the time, as I'm a young person in high school just focusing on my studies. I was an honor roll student, and I even tutored her to help her raise her grades. There was also a time when her parents found out that she and I would fool around before and after school. We were banned from seeing each other, but one day I called her house and her aunt answered the phone. I was told I'm not supposed to call there as I will not be allowed to talk to her. However, her aunt was surprised when I said I'm not there to talk to my girlfriend, but rather her father. He answered the phone and we had a few exchanges and greetings, and I told him I would like to set up an appointment for a family meeting. Dude, that took balls. A family meeting between them and me. We met the very next day, and the dad even said to himself, before we even start, I have to say you have a lot of balls for doing this. He respected you. You were acting like a man. Most guys wouldn't do it, let alone young men. I responded by saying I have every right to be angry. What happened during this meeting is me asking them what their daughter's grades were like before she met me and what it is now and that she's with me. I also handed them a collection of my graded tests, though the months at school, all of which were 100% or close to it. Damn, dude, you're a smart dude. Along with that, I decided to add a little lie to add some icing to the cake. I told them that my parents have high expectations of me as they want me to become a doctor, which I have no intention to. Well, I'm sure the second they heard doctor, they're like, okay, you can take our daughter. I left the place victorious and was allowed to see her. However, shortly after when we got back together, she broke down and came up front when I told her I had a nightmare that she was fooling around with another guy. Well, don't ever say that to a woman because that's going to be perceived as being weak and insecure. Start crying, and apparently it's true. The guy happens to be much taller than me, has a car, and being blind as I am, I decided to forgive her. Okay, so you had a dream. I guess you're psychic because you saw in the dream that she cheated on you, but you were probably just trusting your gut that something was off. So she cheated on you with another dude with a car and it was taller than you. That sucks. There's always going to be some guy that's taller, some guy with a better car, some guy with more money, but it shows her character. You shouldn't have forgiven her. You should have dumped her and not come back, but you'll learn. A year passed by and she moved on to another place. Our relationship kept going, so I thought. While I was going to college and getting good grades, I might add, she cheated on me with another guy. Once a cheater, always a cheater, who again is taller than me and has a vehicle. Throwing a 6-year relationship away, it took a while to recover, but I eventually did. 6 years, man, when you're that young, that must really hurt. And you were obviously really good at this girl. All these life lessons. Is it any wonder why so many guys are just done with dating? With so much of the BS? Especially when you are a guy of value and you do things right, and yet you still, And a lot of it has to do with the social media out there, amongst many other things I talk about all the time. She cheated on me with another guy who was taller than me. I read that part. Fast forward many years, I was a young enlisted person in the military. I went back to my country, the Philippines, on a vacation, especially after coming from almost a year-long deployment. I visited a nightclub where I met this female. I grew attached to her after one BJ. Yeah, future girlfriends are not good to meet at nightclubs, let alone if that night she was giving you a head in the club. That's not exactly, that's hookup material. That's not girlfriend material. I visited her regularly and she eventually became my girlfriend. I decided to accept her so long as she stopped with what she was doing, and she did, or at least I thought she did. What's the saying? You can't turn a 304 into a housewife? Or you can take the girl... I'm not going to say that. They said you can't turn a 304 into a housewife. That's what I said. This is so true. But this is me thinking that this is something that, like that stupid movie, Pretty Woman. Back to the whole movie thing. That movie, Pretty Woman, it came out like 40-some years ago. Let me think. 30-some years ago. That made a lot of money. And it was popular. But... bullshit. Thinking that I rescued her from such a life and that she will become faithful. This young woman, over time, while we continued our long-distance relationship, also became more demanding. It started with her asking for a little cash to eat out, a little extra to hang out with friends, to slowly asking for the newest mobile phone, Samsung Galaxy model. How about she pay for that? How about she get off her ass and get a job and pay for those things? You're not her husband. You're not engaged. I took note of that, but didn't do anything yet. She never had any formal education, not even a high school education, yet she was looking for a job. Dude, you shouldn't have been with this girl in the first place, but now that I know that she didn't even have a high school education, you guys don't match up. Remember, who you hang out with is going to impact you and the direction your life goes. So if you hang out with if you're going to date a woman, make sure she at the very least has a job, has some education, because you're a smart guy. You want somebody else that's that much below you. But obviously you were attracted to her because obviously her looks, her body, and the fact that she got frisky with you the night you met her in the club. No. However, I found the place that she was applying to is actually owned by a childhood friend of mine. When I tried to talk to him, he actually said no, as it will cost money to train her, as she has no training, nor does she have any other work experience. Other than being on her knees from a certain place I met her, I told him that the 2 weeks she'll be trained will come out of my pocket, and I'll send him money so he can hire her. You're really going out of your way for this girl. In a couple of days, she called me and was all happy that she finally found a job, but kept it secret from her that it was me working from the shadows to help her. Many months flew by, and the boss of the place warned me that she's been getting picked up at work by another guy and that he seems awfully close. No surprise. At this point, I'm actually slowly getting some shades of the red pill. I had no reason to doubt him, and I believed him, but did some digging to see the truth. I dug through her friend's photo on social media and saw her with him together. Him giving her a hug from behind while they're at a party. I confronted her about it. She deflected, lied, and said it was my fault. Blaming you for her cheating. Imagine that. That's never happened in the history of relationships. I hope you can pick up on my sarcasm. After listening to a bunch of nonsense, I terminated the relationship. I also asked my friend if she will be staying in his workplace. He's not really hurting, and he said he only hired her because of me, so she was terminated from her job. Good. She deserves it. With the excuse that there's so many people and that they need to cut back, and that she's the least qualified. Do I feel bad about it? After being used for my money, me accepting her past, and she still cheated? No, I do not feel bad, not at all. And for me, I only took away what was mine and what came from me. Seems fair to me. A year went by, and my best friend, also my childhood friend, became my third girlfriend. The relationship did not last really long, as I found out that she actually had a child from another man, and she'd been keeping a secret from me for that long. I want to know how the hell she hid that. I decided to terminate the relationship as to not get caught up into some legal loopholes and end up having to support the child. Very smart, brother. What she is looking for is not a partner, but a provider. This was probably my final push into the R pill. You cannot have these many bad experiences not have it impact you that way. I mean, one after the other. Many years have gone by now. I actually unfriended them on Facebook, but never blocked them. They can see from the sidelines my success and my happiness. Success is the best revenge. And having a hotter, younger woman. If she's worth it. Which is rare. My first girlfriend had messaged me a few times. She talks a lot, but I don't exactly engage in the conversation. Of course she reaches out. She says she likes how I look and that I seem to be doing well. Whenever she sends a message, I respond to the question, and that is it. I don't say anything to keep the conversation engaged, nor do I ask any questions. She's married with multiple kids. She really shouldn't be messaging her ex-boyfriend. Because cheaters always cheat. That's why. She's not happy. She needs the attention and validation, especially now that she has a bunch of kids. Attention and validation, maybe looking to cheat, maybe looking for more resources. She figured, oh, this guy's probably the same old nice guy, and I can get him back like this, but you changed, and you're not having it, so good for you. My second girlfriend has also kept in contact with me. The guy she's with is a deadbeat and was unable to provide for her. Looks like she went back to her previous job on being on her knees, and sometimes randomly without me asking for it. She'd send me nudes asking what I think of her. I responded with, I think you're okay. You might get lucky and find Mr. Right. That's funny. You're not validating. You're okay. See? They always come back. It's the greatest revenge. You doing well, and they contact you. And it's amazing how when these types that are used to guys chasing after them and getting attention all the time, when you get to a point you don't care and you're indifferent and you're in a good place, and you don't pursue and chase and all that, and don't give them the attention and validation, a lot will just keep pursuing and pursuing and pursuing because it drives them crazy that they're not getting that attention and validation. And I'm sure many of you guys have experienced this. You can't beat them away with a stick. My former best friend, my former lover, also frequently messages me and sends me email. Due to her actually being a childhood friend of mine, this one I treat a little bit better compared to the other two. I treat her like an acquaintance, but nothing more. But asked on several occasions on when I'll have time off so we can spend some time together on what she calls bonding time. Not falling for that, or I could just get trapped. One of the MG Towel channels I listened to once said so our pill men are just a BJ away from going back to the plantation. I don't know what channel said that, but that sounds about right. Over the years, I've seen significant changes in my mood. I'm a much happier person, in a better mood, much more disposable income, and overall doing much better than before. Awesome, man. You're a man on his purpose. You've been burned many, many, many times and gone through that. You've become stronger, wiser, and you're doing well for yourself and living for yourself. That's what every guy should do. I'm proud of you. Those years, well, I can start saving up again. The energy I spent was long gone. So I am living my life with a thought that this is my one and only life. I should make the most of it and have fun, which I am doing. Exactly. The odds are this is our only life, guys, so you got to make the most of it. And do what makes you happy, and that's it. Women has not really entered my mind at all, not really into relationships. I'm doing well physically as well financially. I still contribute to the community with my volunteer service as well as donating blood on a regular occasion. I guess the moral of the whole story, aside from my journey from being blue-pilled to R-pilled, is that there are just much more things to life than being someone's other half. You're darn right. Purpose, goals, ambition, being the best you can be, taking this world by the balls and making stuff happen. Most guys don't do that. Most people in this world don't live. They just exist. There's a big difference there. And for guys that watch me regularly, you guys are definitely a small percentage of this world that actually want to make something of yourselves. You want to learn something, improve yourself in some way. I know a lot of people come here for entertainment, but a lot of you guys also like to learn some stuff along the way. And you're going to be every time you watch one of these videos, as well as other videos, you learn something. You become a little bit better version of yourselves. And you can take these lessons and apply it to your life. Most people aren't going to do that. So you guys watch this regularly, you're already ahead of the pack. You just got to find your own path and do what makes you happy in life and become the best you can be. And you'll be happy, just like this dude. You'll be happy like me. You see me, I do these videos, I got a big smile on my face every day when I do this because I do what I love. I love doing what I'm doing here on YouTube. I do 2-3 videos a day between both channels, and I'm not going to stop. I guess the moral of the whole story is, aside from my journey from I just read that, I see many men in the military go through the hell of divorce, as well as the stories from many other YouTube channels such as yours. Thank you for listening. You're welcome, and thank you for writing me and telling me your story. Thank you for, really getting into detail, because when I go through these stories, guys, it helps other guys out. There's so many guys in different levels of their journey. And I know many guys like to listen because there are guys that are going through hard times right now, and these stories help them get through it. It motivates them that I can get through any kind of hardship I'm going through right now, or they listen to these things and they tuck away these lessons in their head, and these situations may arise, they know what to do. It gives a lot of people hope, and that's what I want to do. So that's why I always say, guys, if you got a great story to share, personal experience, I don't care if it happened 30 years ago. Fine. Email me. Make it write out really well, and I will certainly share it if it definitely works out. One day, I'm getting flooded with emails, by the way, guys. I get emails, so many emails of personal stories now, I can't keep up. So just bear with me. Some I see that are really good, and I'll tuck away for later because I may already done a video that week, and I want to have variety in this channel. But I'll get to them. Just bear with me, because some people are now saying, "Hey, SSM, did you get my email?" Yes, I got your email, but just give me some time. But keep sending these stories, guys. They really help out. And, of course, good entertaining articles and stuff like that. Anyhow, thank you, bro, for sending this story. It'll definitely help people out. I'm glad you're doing well. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.